Hi, and welcome to Time Warner Cable's High School Football Game of the Week. Tonight we have Shafter High School against Wasco High School. And before the game, we thought that we would maybe talk a little about the rivalry that is behind these schools' history. Today I have with me Matt Gwynn, a teacher at Shafter High, and also the baseball coach, as well as alum from years ago. Along with that, we're going to be talking a little about the history again, also be talking about some of the festivities that happened throughout the week before the rivalry, and also maybe a few predictions about what we think the outcome will be. So Matt, first of all, why don't we talk a little bit about the history, a little bit about, some of the rivalries we've had in the past, and just a little more about the actual rivalry that goes on.
Sure. The game started, these two schools started playing each other in 1933, and so the rivalry's been going on for about 68 years. They played every year since then except for 1942 when World War II prevented the game from being played. And so far, being a Shafter High teacher and alumni, the good guys have won the majority of those games. Shafter controls the series right now with 40 wins to Wasco's 29, and they have tied 5 times. So these games are usually pretty exciting. You throw records out when you're playing Shafter versus Wasco because this is about pride, and should be a good game.
Now, we're at Shafter High right now, and how far is Wasco from here? Is Wasco pretty close in proximity? Is it a similar sized town? Why is this rivalry going on?
Well, I mean, Wasco's less than 10 miles away, and there's a lot of traffic back and forth, and you have a lot of people that work in one community and live in the other. And the other thing is, in a small rural community, you've got parents, grandparents who've all played in the game, so kids grow up with this game meaning something. This is both these schools' Super Bowl, and this year both teams have had disappointing seasons to this point, but if they win tonight, it doesn't really matter. This is the most important game that they'll play, and it's the only game that most of these players will remember the rest of their lives.
Well, what would you see the rivalry is like? Is it kind of like Dodgers, Giants, Hatfields, McCoys? How would you kind of relate this rivalry?
It's a friendly rivalry, and I think the best example of how friendly it is when every Friday, the Friday of the home game, the home team actually will host the visitors to a breakfast, and then the visitor comes to the home team school and partakes in their rally. They endure a little harmless ribbing from the home team. Their cheerleaders perform. The players are introduced from both teams. They meet in the center of the stage of the auditorium. They shake hands. And then the schools get on buses and they go to the other school. And they do it all over again. And so these schools respect each other. They have a good time. The emotions will run high, but they also have a lot of class. And it's just good, hard-fought rivalry, but a lot of these players are friends. They've grown up with each other so close together.
Now, would you say that the whole town, from what I understand, like the whole town basically shuts down for the week prior? Do you have other events that go on during the week, or?
Well, it isn't really shut down, but during the week, we have a number of activities for the kids, and last night both schools had big bonfires. Both schools yesterday, students and faculty dressed like the opposing school, so you have a lot of Wasco nerds here at Shafter High School and a lot of Shafter nerds at Wasco High School. So it's something that builds up the whole week with a lot of activities at noontime for the kids, and culminating tonight where you'll have majority of the community coming out and supporting their teams.
Now, does this rivalry extend beyond all sports and all things that go on, or does this pretty much stay particular just to football?
I would say that probably if you ask people from both schools, because Garces is a dominant team in our league, that you would probably see that they really, in the other sports, they want to beat Garces. But when it comes to football, this game is, the Shafter-Wasco rivalry really comes out in the football game. You always want to beat Wasco, but no more so than in the football game.
And you said this rivalry's been going on since about the 30s?
Yeah, 1933 was the first game, and Shafter currently enjoys a 3-game winning streak in the series. So we'd like to keep that going. The seniors for Shafter have never experienced a loss in a varsity game to Wasco, and of course Wasco seniors have never experienced a win, so a lot at stake tonight.
What do you like as far as the outcome today? Do you expect a very hard-fought game and you expect a winner?
Well, when you're at Shafter, you always look in the paper to see what Wasco's been doing, because you're always looking to this game. And Wasco and Shafter, both their seasons have been very similar. They played teams very tough up until the fourth quarter, and then it just kind of gets away from them. I would say that an edge goes to Wasco in the fact that they seem to be a little more healthy. Shafter has 4 starters that are banged up. We got kids walking around school in cast and on crutches. But I am a Shafter guy, so I'm going to pick Shafter tonight.
All right, very well. And with that, one of the things we do at the end of the game is also choose a Roadrunner High-Speed Online Speedster of the Week. That would be the player that demonstrates speed that impacts the game. So, Matt, your prediction on who that would be today?
Well, I think there's 2 players to watch, and I want to be fair to Wasco. And number 1, Daryl Moore is an excellent player. He's incredibly fast. He's a great tailback. For Shafter, though, I'm going to go with your Speedster of the Week, quarterback, number 10, Ricky Ishida. He's second in the county in passing, but he's incredibly fast. And if Wasco breaks containment, look for him to get loose and get a lot of yards on the ground.
All right, thanks, Matt. Well, please stay tuned throughout the game and also in the game to see who that Speedster of the Week is. And with that, Matt, I'd also like to give you a shirt, a Roadrunner High Speed Online Speedster of the Week shirt.
Thank you.
And to show the fans back at home what that looks like. Turn around the back.
Now,
and this will be awarded to the Lucky Speedster of the Week, the Roadrunner Speedster of the Week, later tonight.
why isn't this blue and gold?
Unfortunately, it is black, so no blue and gold General today, but never know. Maybe a General will be wearing it. Well, thanks for your time again, and with that, we're going to throw it up to the booth for Mark and Brian.
As we hear the national anthem before the Shafter-Wasco game, Shafter has won 3 consecutive times, Brian, and they have dominated the series, but look at the records coming in. Wasco 1-8, 1-4 in the South Sequoia League. Shafter 1-7, 1-0-5 in the SSL, but Wasco could have tied Tehachapi last week. They went for 2 points at the end of the game, lost 21-20. Both teams can pass the ball, but both are very porous defensively, especially against the run. So I think we can see a very high-scoring game. Well,
that's been shown this week in the past of these two teams with the rushing yards they've been getting up. And with Daryl Moore and Isaac Ellman, I look to them with 5.1 and 5.3 yards per carry to get off tonight.
Well, Daryl Moore coming to the game, 883 yards and 5 touchdowns. David Juarez has been the quarterback for most of the year, but he sat on the bench last week, and a junior. Simon Lowen came in for 3 touchdown passes and over 200 yards. 10 of those passes to Marcus Ballard. And so you look at the two teams, Wasp with 1,236 rushing yards, about 1,286 passing, 2,500 yards total offense. Defensively, though, for the Tigers, they've allowed over 2,100 yards on the ground, over 1,000 yards through the air, and over 3,200 yards total. Shafter, by the way, fumbled 6 times last week and lost to Arvin, had 131 yards in penalties. Shafter this season has given up over 2,000 yards on defense, well over 1,000 yards rushing. You look at the two teams, Wasco show more balance as far as rushing and passing, but tonight's game, they can throw out the records. It doesn't really make any difference because both teams want to win this game, and I think it is probably the most prominent game that the players would think about later on in their life.
Well, that was alluded to in the introduction, and anytime you have a rivalry, when teams are this close proximity and they're going to compete against each other, the records don't matter. I mean, even if one team at this point was 8-1 and one was 0-9, there would still be a battle. The game would still be close. And like I said, I expect the game to go down to the fourth quarter, and maybe whoever has the ball last comes up the victor.
Both been involved in very close games throughout this year. Shafter gave Garces a good battle for a half, and Garces came from behind to win a very high-scoring affair. But I think Wasco's game against Tehachapi last week has to prove to be a confidence builder for them, even though they lost by 1 point, 21-20, because Tehachapi has a great defense. They're playing Garces tonight for the South Sequoia League title, and the Warriors' only loss this year was to BHS of 13-6.
Yeah. The Warriors are showing to be a good team this year, solid. But again, like you said, at Wasco, you have to build some kind of confidence. You know you lost, that you played a team that played the Drillers that close. And in Wasco, we saw Daryl Moore last year have a real big game, and I think they're going to have to really utilize him tonight in the running game and try to exploit the defense of Shafter.
Rick Yoshida, the quarterback for Shafter, the Generals receive a kickoff across the 10, 20-yard line. Number 34, the ball carrier, drove him to the 40 and down. Yoshida this year, 99 completions at about 196 attempts, 1,363 yards, 10 touchdowns. Yoshida also plays defense. He's a main athlete for the Shafter Generals.
Well, he's a solid all-around football player, and You know, he's the kind of guy right there. And we're going back right now. We're going to Elman. Elman right here is going to do a kickoff return. He already averages 5.3 yards per carry on a rush. And you can see that he has the ability to cut back and some speed to get downfield and makes a guy miss and gets the ball to the 41-yard line.
Blake Garion wide left for Shafter. 20 receptions this year. A shooter from a shotgun. Lofts it on the left sidelines. Wide open, 30-yard line to the 25. And down inside the 15. Number 30 for the Generals, Matt Crown. Matt this year with 23 receptions, 395 yards, and a couple of touchdowns for the Generals. Matt Crown.
Well, Matt Crown just boosted that 17.2 yard per catch average right there. As he gets a little corner route, and Nishida just puts it right there. He's wide open. Sometimes which is the hardest pass to make when somebody's wide open. Right there on the numbers. And Crown goes down and gets the ball inside the 20.
And Shafter cooking here inside the 15-yard line in Wasco territory. The Generals and the Tigers. Shotgun. At the back of Alman. Breaks the tackle, and now he's thrown down. They might be able to get back to the line of scrimmage. Wasco on defense. Fred Island, Tony Ruiz. Abraham Castillo, the corners. Mike Thunderson, free safety. Jermaine Maston, strong safety. Sergio Rios, the quarterback. Here's kind of all the guys that were playing. Adrian Ramirez, Humberto Hernandez, Christian Soto, Chet McCurdy, etc. On the line for Wasco, Anthony Gonzalez, a defensive end. Enihil Aurelio, outside linebacker. Chris Waito, inside linebacker. Jeff Oxford, down lineman. Corey Terry, DT, and Franz DeWet, a defensive end for the Tigers. Personal foul against Shafter. They'll put them back at about the 27-yard line of Wasco territory.
Yeah, those are the kind of penalties you don't want to see to push you back when you're driving the ball, you're in scoring position. You know, and now you put yourself in a situation you can't pick up enough yards, it's going to be a long field goal, so we'll have to see what happens on this play.
The Shafter's gained almost 2,400 yards this year on offense. Wasco has allowed over 3,200. And both teams give up over 30 points per game. Ricky Shida shotgun. Looking right, looking left. Inside screen and incomplete. Alman. Nice pressure by number 54 for the Wasco Tigers, Chris Waddle, or Waddell. It's been quite a few of those at Wasco over the years, Waddles.
Yeah, you know, right there, that's what you want to do. You just want to get some pressure. Quarterback's trying to set up the screen on the Nishida, but he has too much pressure, not enough time to set it up, and it was covered well, so.
Nishida has to have a game of about 360 yards to finish first in the counting and passing this year. Got about 210 last week and 3 scores.
Well,
obviously from the shotgun, they'll be passing a lot. Maybe a motion penalty against Shafter, Brian.
But this is where he's dangerous right here in the passing situation. You get the rush. He's able to elude the rush. Now he's a double threat to either run the ball or to throw it.
We talk about both teams' defenses. Wasco has allowed over 2,100 yards on the ground, and Shafter has allowed over 2,000 yards, but both teams primarily are passing teams this year, so it may not be a big factor. The penalty against Wasco. The ball to the 22-yard line in Tiger territory. A shooter shotgun looking left. Towards the end zone, incomplete. A post pattern. Number 4 for the Shafter Generals. Incomplete.
And that's Aaron Garcia right there. And right here is a post on the backside. The shooter looks left, comes back right. And it's been a tough catch, and it was almost made by Aaron Garcia.
Maybe if you're Jerry Weiss, who made that play. Or Tim Brown. Or Isaac Bruce. 4th down for Shafter. They're going for it. They have to get to about the 4-yard line. A shooter to throw looking left. Sets up plenty of time. Down the left sidelines, up in the air. It is cut. Touchdown, Shafter Generals. Double coverage. A pass caught by Matt Crown.
And I'm telling you, that's a big-time throw by a shooter right there. Over the corner, he was patient. I mean, he just puts it right on the money.
Lofted high in the air. His man had a beat on the defense, Matt Crown. Shafter 6, Wasco nothing. Left-footed kicker for Shafter. Line drives it, no good. Wide right. The number 15, Nick. Nick Ibarra for the Shafter Generals. 6-0. Shafter, 10:43 to play.
And here it is right here, Mark. She just steps back. He has all the time in the world.
Oh,
Good,
yeah.
good blocking. And he just lays this out. I mean, this is right on the money. You can see Crown's a little bit of separation. Right over the defenders. Touchdown. And that was just the Ishida to Crown connection for the whole drive on that.
The Ishida Crown affair. The Ishida Crown affair, Brian.
Well, if you're the general fans, you like that affair. I mean, that's going to put some major points on this scoreboard tonight if they can keep that up at this pace.
I think you would agree that you really have to put some pressure on the quarterback. Any quarterback has how much time to throw is going to kill the defense.
Yeah, especially one that's accurate like Ishida is. You know, you're a 3-year varsity veteran. I mean, you can see right there, I mean, that's 2 balls in a row that he just laid right there. And it's too bad Corey Pops doesn't lay him out like that for UCLA. We might have Ishida come up there tomorrow.
Don't get me going on that. I won't get you going either. No way. Early here in the first quarter, Shafter 6, Wasco nothing. As the Tigers trying to answer that touchdown by the Generals. Onside kick, recovered by Wasco, throwing 45-yard line. So as always in this game, a few wrinkles, a few plays like that.
Well,
This will be the last game of the regular season for both teams.
Yeah, and Albie Snow did a good job because the rest of his mates on the front line for blocking all took off, and he stayed there and fielded the ball.
He was ready for it. We will see who plays quarterback for Wasco as we begin this game. Number 4, the junior, Simon Lowen, who threw for over 200 yards and a couple of touchdowns last week against Tehachapi. Anthony Gonzalez, a fullback. There's Daryl Moore. Cuts back, gained about 5-6 yards as he barrels forward into Shafter territory. At the 48-yard line, Daryl Moore, just under 890 yards coming into the game, 5 touchdowns. We saw him last year.
Well, I think we're going to see Daryl Moore past the 1,000-yard mark tonight. Right there, you see he ripped off 5 yards on that carry. That's what he averages. And I think it's a situation, you know, when you scout, you look and see where the weaknesses are. And, you know, the statistics say it's on the rushing game, and you have a great back in Moore. Why not go to him?
Daryl Moore again. Tries to go to the outside. Hit, but dives forward close to the first down. Great second, third effort by Daryl Moore. Looked like he's going to be dropped to the line of scrimmage and managed to sneak his way close to the first down.
And he's getting up a little slow right there.
Wasco cannot afford to lose him in this game.
No, they can't. So he, you know, you gotta hope that he can shake it off. He's not hurt too bad.
Breakaway threat for the Tigers.
And right here, Morris is gonna go off tackle to the right. Good job of the defender right there to break it up. Another linebacker busts through, doesn't quite hold on to him, and Moore slides through and kind of gets his, like he got his bell rung a little bit.
3rd and 2 for the Tigers. Officials timeout. Up front for Wasco. Chris Waddle, number 54. Jeremy Sabala, number 55. Andy Snow, number 58. Number 64, David Espinoza. Jeff Oxford, number 71. Marcus Bauer, wide out, number 81. Franz DeWitt, number 85, the tight end. Number 5 is Tony Ruiz, one of the wideouts for Wasco. We saw him motion in the first game. First play of the game. Daryl Moore, number 1, of course, the tailback. Quarterback, Simon Lowen. If you'd like a copy of tonight's game, give us a call at 322-1941. 3rd and short for Wasco. Fullback, got trouble with the handoff. That'll be 4th down for the Tigers. Lowen never got the ball to his fullback, Anthony Gonzalez. So a critical mistake for Wasco. 4th and about 4. Most likely they'll be punting.
Yeah, they're coming out in the punt formation, but you know, just a mistake right there and with the quarterback and the fullback on the exchange, and it's going to cost them a punt.
Yeah, they'll be punting from the 35-yard line. Wild runs deep for Shafter. That's number 4, actually. Ball's punted away from him, almost hits. The return man for the Generals, number 4,
Garcia.
They came a little bit too close to that. That'll have been disastrous for the Generals.
Well, you got to look out now because if she's coming back out to quarterback this team, and Crown, that's his man, so it'll be interesting to see if they come right out the box going back to him.
The Yoshida aerial attack. It is a big game to be number 1 in the county. Dustin Down Desert has finished out his regular season. Shafter 6, Wasco nothing, 8:25 to play in the first quarter from Shafter High School. Shafter has won 3 consecutive years. They've actually dominated the series since about midway through 1985. So a timeout on the field. Up front for the Generals. Left tackle 77, Jason Williams. Number 50, left guard, Roy Esparza. The center is number 53, Ben Garza. The right guard, number 51, Francisco Beltran. And the right tackle, number 78, Miguel Paramo. A couple of guys, actually 3 guys, about 250 for Shafter, but they're kind of short. Ashita takes it himself. Has the first down and more to the 40, 45, look at the speed. They finally bring him out of bounds. Tackled by Colin Ruiz of Wasco. But Ashita picks up a first down for the Generals.
And Ashita just right there shows you why he's a double threat at any time in the game. Design play, quarterback draw. Right here. He's going to run the whole time. Good vision, gets to the sideline, uses his speed and quickness to get to the sideline. Has one guy to beat in Ruiz, and he makes the touchdown saving tackle right there. But I mean, they alluded to it early on the intro about Ricky Ashita being the Roadrunner online high-speed online speech of the week, and he's showing why he's going to be a candidate.
Alwan hit in the backfield and dropped for about a 4 or 5 yard loss. Number 33 for Shafter.
Number 33.
It'll be 2nd and 15 for the Generals, but no problem for Ricky Ashita, who throws the ball very well. So 2nd and 15 is not a bad situation for them.
Well, they've already shown they're willing to pass on 4th and 15 or 16, if depending if they're close enough in the.
In this game, you do a lot of things you don't normally do during the course of the year. You go for broke. Ashita behind the center, looking left. Quick pass, incomplete. Garcia bobbled it. He really had a first down. That'll be 3rd and long for Shafter.
Yeah. You know, and Ashita really is throwing 2 balls to Garcia that are right there, and we'll see it come through right there. He's coming through, got his hands on it, but just wasn't able to hold on to it. Because there was also good coverage by Abraham Castillo of the Tigers.
Shafter with Wasco 47-yard line, 6-0 Generals. 7:41 to play in the first. Trip right, shoot it from the shotgun, looking left, now looking right. Plenty of time, too much time. Flush out of the pocket. That's a nice move, goes out of bounds. After a gain of about 6 or 7 yards. That'll be 4th down for Shafter. Wasco flowed to the ball very well.
Yeah, he did, you know, but I mean, Ashita just shows you right there what a good quarterback is. He waits, nobody's there. He breaks, and I mean, he still was trying to pick up a first down and picked up another good 8 or 9 yards.
Watch Ashita's back to punt and could throw at 4th and 5. He fakes the punt, throws it on the left sidelines. It is picked off. Great play at the 15-yard line by Wasco. Number 23, Sergio Rios.
Yeah, Sergio Rios made a good play right there to intercept the ball on the fake punt by Ashita. Just didn't hit. He had Crown open again, but just didn't get the ball out far enough. Was real close to being a big play but for Shafter, but instead it's a big play for the Tigers as they take over.
Well, it's as good as a pass. Good as a punt, I should say. Wasco at their own 15-yard line.
Oh, yeah.
Junior quarterback, Daryl Moore, cuts back again of 2 or 3 yards against that Shafter defense. Teams have been able to run against Shafter this year as they've been able to run against Wasco, so we'll see if that's a factor as this game goes on.
Well, I think that's a good sign for the Tigers that Daryl Moore is back out in this series because he went off the field for a play on in that first one.
Well, we'll call it 2nd and 6, 6:49 to play in the first quarter. Shafter 6, Wasco nothing. PAT was no good for the Generals. Pitch back to Daryl Moore. Shafter General defense really flows to the ball well. And maybe throws it for a loss. I thought they were porous against the run.
Well, they must have heard you and decided to strengthen that up.
Garcia, Sheila, Abarca, Figueroa, Waldman, Porter, Hernandez. Garcia, Garza, Stevens, and Williams. Rotating throughout the game for Shafter. Third down. 3rd and 6 for Wasco. In their own territory at the 19-yard line. Wasco hasn't passed the ball like I thought they would. Long, now back to pass. Down the left sideline, have a man open and complete. Thought hit number 41, Soto. Too much air. 4th down for the Tigers. He needed Brian Adams speed on that pass.
It was a safe pass, you know. It's one of those pass plays you say either your man gets it, you know, or you're going to punt the ball and play a field position game.
Transfer wet as a punter for Wasco. Talks about 6'3", 6'4". Nice one. Fumble by Shafter, but recovered by the Generals. Garcia had trouble trying to handle that punt. Well, the Generals recover at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, the Generals got lucky.
Disastrous.
They got lucky on that bounce right there. Here it is right here. You see it bounces. As Jose Andrade almost just barely runs by it for the Tigers. But the Generals maintain possession.
Look at Barton recovered for Shafter. For the Generals, 1st and 10. From their own 39-yard line. Ashita shotgun, looking left, looking right. Plenty of time, sets up, throws incomplete. It should have been caught by Garcia. Garcia had trouble handling that punt, dropped that pass. Remember early in the game, the punt deep inside the 5-yard line. It was almost a disaster.
Well, I like what Ashita just did right there. You know, he didn't get mad at him. He just came back, gave him 5, and he kind of just told him, hey, we'll get it back again. Don't worry about it.
I bet he will go right back to Garcia. Wide for Shafter. Number 80. Blake Gehring. Like a shovel pass, incomplete. Ashita just dumped it off. Looked like a forward lateral. But it goes as an incomplete pass. 5:30 to play here.
Yeah, they're trying to run some little screen passes for Elman right there, but he's too close to the pressure and the quarterback. There's not enough space for him to get the ball over so he can make an easy catch and then follow the screen setup of the offensive lineman.
3rd and 10 for the Shafter Generals. After on 49. Took wide for Shafter. Ashita, passing up, looking left, fires the left side for Garcia, incomplete. Great coverage by Wasco. Number 9 for the Tigers.
That's Castillo.
Inside coverage all the way.
Yeah. He did a good job of covering him on that play. And it might be a punt by the Generals.
Well, when Rick Ashita's back there, you never know. He might pass the ball again.
As we'll see it right here.
He punts it this time. Number 5 to one back for Wasco. Ruiz. Now he is pushed back inside the 20-yard line. Great coverage by the Shafter Generals. They are pumped. They are juiced, just like the Tom Warner crew. Led by Zachary tonight. Zach, let's go to the rack.
Well, special teams could be big. Anytime you have a rivalry, you know, special teams play can make a big difference. And the Generals did a good job of covering that punt.
Okay, the Wasco Tigers in their own territory, down 6-0, 5:14 to play in the first. Ruiz wide right. Low on a QB for Wasco, the junior. Had a big game last week, sets up the throw. On the left sideline, overthrows, intended receiver once again. Here's to punt. Marcus Ballard had 10 receptions last week for Wasco.
Well, he had a step on the defensive back right there, and they just weren't able to complete the pass. But you can see that Watson's not afraid to go downtown.
I think Simon maybe been just a little bit too juiced so far.
Well, he'll settle down as the game goes down, as the game goes on.
Well, 2nd and 10 for Wasco at their own 21-yard line. Andrade wide right. Ruiz wide left for the Tigers. Moore, one of the running backs. Long touch on the throw, throws it to the other side. Complete coverage by Ashita. Great coverage on Ruiz. As the ball was underthrown, a little bit of pressure on the quarterback there. He had it unloaded.
Yeah, that pressure disrupted the timing as he was trying to throw on his fifth step and throw it out, a deep out. But the timing was disrupted by the pressure.
Let's get the ball to Moore out of the backfield. Let's throw a short toss to Moore. See what he can do.
I like to see him get the ball more.
I like that.
Whether it be, like you said, a short toss out of the backfield or hand the ball off to him, but you got to try to get him off.
Anthony Gonzalez, the fullback for Wasco. Long to throw, plenty of time, fires it. Way overthrows it. Once again, had a couple of receivers, single covered. Basically threw it away. Is that a real Wasco Tiger?
Well, somebody has their spirit on tonight as they had
they get serious about this rivalry here.
They had their Tiger suit on in the game tonight.
Yeah. DeWitt will punt once again for Wasco. Has on 5-yard line. Garcia, the deep man for Shafter. Gets it off. Line drive in over in. Takes a Wasco roll and goes out of bounds. Inside the 30-yard line.
After 30-yard line will be 1st and 10 for the General.
Wasco D looks to make a big stop here against the Shafter offense.
Well, that
Shafter 6.
Well, that Shafter defense has doing a real good job.
Brian and I having fun here at Shafter.
Oh, yeah.
4:48 to play, first quarter. 1st and 10 for Shafter. Garcia wide left, closely guarded. As Sheeta from the shotgun, trip right. He's going to run it. Nice block. Has the first down. Moore hit hard, and he may have the first down.
Well, he's got it.
Point to look for Wasco. Mike Gunderson for the Tigers. But first down for Shafter.
Well, Ricky really is a tough kid, too. I mean, he comes in right here. He knows he's getting hit. He braces up, takes the hit, gets up. First down, Generals.
Sheila about 5'11", 185. Can pass the ball through effectively. Plays VB for Shafter. Got a couple of runs for first downs tonight. Down the center. On the ball carrier. Nice open at the left side. Gain of about 7 yards for the Shafter Generals. Pounding the ball.
And I like that because he's at a 5.3 yard per carry average. See that big hole right there? He just rumbles through there and bounces off a Tiger. But I like that because now, you already know you have to defend him against the pass, but they can get that running game going. I mean, what are you going to stop? You got Ashita running with the quarterback draws. You have Elman come up the middle and Ashita's arm. That's hard for any team to stop.
Wet, the D, number 85, will attack for Wasco. 2nd and short for Shafter. Ashita, option, pitch back Almond. Cuts inside the block, first down, and more for the Shafter Generals. Look at the fans. They're ready to rock and roll.
Well, now they're just showing you a bunch of different looks, and that's going to keep the defense quiet. Right here, you're going to see Ricky Ashita pitch it, and he gets slammed to the ground. But Elman cuts it upfield, gets going north and south, and picks up the first down.
And the Generals on the move. In Wasco territory at the 43-yard line. 3:14 to play, first quarter. Shafter 6, Wasco nothing. Shafter is 0-5 in the South Dakota League. Wasco 1-4. Shafter is 1-7-1 this year. Wasco 1-8. Doesn't mean anything. Almond, right side, first down, and more knocked out of bounds. They have seen something they like in the Wasco defense.
Well, that's the Elman show on this drive, but he's running the ball hard and picking up a first down almost every time he's touching the ball now.
Alice Shafter fans are scanning to their feet. This is their Super Bowl. This is their playoff. This is their postseason. Trip left for the Shafter Generals. Ricky Ashida, shotgun, 1st and 10. Low snap. He will take it himself. Cut the outside. He is hit and finally dropped by a whole slew of Tigers, about the entire team.
Yeah, right there, the Tigers brought the whole kitchen sink on that one to stop Ashida. And it's the same play they've been doing, and she's going to try to get a little quarterback draw. No room there. As Corey Terry came through, and then the rest of the Tigers come in to finish them off.
31-yard line. A loss of 1 on the play. 2nd down and 11 for the Generals.
Okay, 2nd 11 for Shafter at the Wasco 31-yard line. 6-0 Generals. They have dominated this game thus far. Shotgun looking left. Ashida out of the backfield. Oh, on. Good catch. Pushed down the sideline. Finally pushed out of bounds. The Shafter Generals. One left, one right. Passing. They're doing it all.
What I like about that pass is kind of what you want to see the Tigers do it more, is getting the ball out of the back from the pass. But the pass is just thrown right over the defense. And Nolan's a good job of catching the ball with his hands. And right here, he's just a tough young man to take down. He's going to put his shoulder down and run over one Tiger and throw another Tiger to the ground and drags another Tiger.
Thunderson, number 25, brought him down for Wasco. But 1st and 10 for Shafter. Bad snap to Sheila. He will run it. Puts his head down. Maybe gets back to line of scrimmage. 1:45 to play in the 1st quarter. Shafter 6, Wasco nothing. And Shafter is knocking on the door. They are banging on the Tiger door. They want to get inside the Tiger den.
And get 6, huh? There's 6 big bones in there in the Tiger den.
The Generals want to rule. Ashida from the shotgun. Fakes the option, hit hard in the backfield. He thought about pitching the ball to Alman and then paid the price. 34. Nice hit for Wasco. Humberto Hernandez.
That was a good play by Humberto.
Third
and 12 for Shafter. Wasco D trying to rise to the occasion. As their backs are to the wall, 6-0 Shafter at a closing stage of the 1st quarter. Trip left for Shafter. Ashida, shotgun, looking left, looking, plenty of time. Throw out back to Alman. He makes the catch, out of bounds at the 13-yard line. The clock should stop. 13 seconds on the clock here in the 1st quarter. Shafter looking for more, seeking more against Wasco.
That's a penalty against the Generals. Right here, he's looking down. He's looking for the big play, doesn't have it. Comes off his reads and throws to his back.
Alman has done a great job for Shafter tonight, running the ball, catching passes out of the backfield, showing his diversity.
And he's also the lead blocker on that quarterback draw too, so he's a multi-dimensional player.
That'll be 3rd and 17 for Shafter. At the Wasco 23-yard line. Twisters wide right. Ashida. Soskin over the middle, complete to Alman. Loss of guard. Great play by 42 of Wasco. Chet McCurdy.
And McCurdy just read that like a book, you know.
Smell it. He can smell a General from 5 yards away.
See, there's some Tiger fans over there.
After 1, Shafter 6, Wasco nothing. We're watching the Prep Football Game of the Week on CNN Side, Time Warner Cable, Channel 31, Digital 106.
People everywhere are choosing digital cable over satellite and adding Roadrunner high-speed online, all from Time Warner Cable. Let's find out why.
One call gets it all, Doc. I watch great TV, rain or shine.
That's really entertaining.
I'm on the internet in a nanosecond.
That's really fast.
And I can do them both at once.
That's really amazing.
Another day, another miracle.
Call Time Warner today for special savings on digital cable and Roadrunner. Call now.
Fox NFL Sunday, this is our first day. We are saying thank you to one of the greatest hockey players ever to play the game. For the third time in a row, they are the world champions.
The network that revolutionized sports television now is redefining sports radio.
We're the only radio show that has a regular staff psychologist perfectly qualified to discuss sports talk radio.
Fox Sports Radio.
Now we begin the second quarter of action from Shafter High with the Generals holding a 6-0 win over Wasco. Mark Hefner with the one and only Brian Adams.
Oh, man, usually I hear about the other Brian Adams, but let me get on the mic.
The future Arena Football League star.
Well, we'll see. We still got a lot to go.
Shafter's a fourth down in Wasco territory, about 4th and 17.
Timeout called already. A couple of players weren't ready to go back on the field after the quarter. So Shafter burned a timeout.
It appears that Shafter will go for it. Not go for a field goal, but go for a first down. They can get a first down at about the 5-yard line, I believe. So they want to keep this drive going.
And they might throw into the end zone again and go for the big play.
Talked about the fact that Sheeta is very capable. Why not? This is your final regular season game of the year. They're playing Wasco. Anything happens in this game, playing out all the trick plays, you go for broke. Who would you say is Bakersfield High's main rival in Bakersfield? I guess it's Centennial now. Who was BHS's main rival when you were playing?
It was West High when I was playing. Grosses was right next to it, but West High was the one you had to go through to win the South Yosemite League before the split.
Before the split. Shotgun and Shooter looking left, looking right. Throws it towards the end zone, wobbles it up there, incomplete. Great coverage by Wasco. Pass intended for number 30 for Shafter. That'll be Matt Crown.
And right there you see Humberto Hernandez get some pressure on Ashita. On the last time on fourth down, Ashita had all day to throw the ball.
And Sergio Rios knocked it away for Wasco number 23.
And that results in an incomplete pass and Tiger ball. So Tiger defense has tightened up a little bit since that first drive.
The Tigers take over. We see the black and orange of Wasco. Wasco in their own territory. 23-yard line. The white uniforms moving right to left. Daryl Moore hitting the backfield. I thought you could run against Shafter.
Well,
that's not been the case tonight.
That's what the statistics dictate, but you know the game has to be played on the field, and so far that Juneau defense has been very tough up the middle.
They have. For the Wasco Tigers, 2nd down and 9. Wasco wide left. We have number 30, Andrade, Jose Andrade. Daryl Moore for the backfield. Makes a couple of great moves. First down and more. Tries to cut to the opening. He does it. 50, 45, sidelines 45, 40. Knocked out of bounds. Oh, great play. Jumps over the bench. What else can he do? Daryl Moore, number 1.
Look at the athleticism on the young man.
Yeah, and he waves to the Shafter crowd.
I mean, that's what we saw him do last year. And this is what Daryl Moore does best. If he can get through the line of scrimmage and open field, you'll see where he uses quickness and his speed to get away. even running into his own man, he's still able to run away from some Generals. And he'll hit the sideline right here as he goes, almost outrunning our camera, and lowers his shoulder right here. And then the athletic mover jumping over the bench and coming up safe.
Great athletic play by Gerald Moore. His own blocker got in his way at about the 45-yard line. He was able to push it to the outside. Shows some of that high-flying speed.
Well, you got to give the Wasco High coaching staff some credit. You know, they run the ball. The Generals have been tight against it, and they stayed with it, and they finally broke a big one for them.
Dan Thiessen, the head coach of Wasco, he's with Garces for a long time. Joey Mayo, defense. Ed Ortiz, Brent Steve Paul also coach here. They were a quarterback and wide receiver pair for Wasco in the late 80s, I believe. And Bobby Rodriguez has been at Wasco for a long time. Wide receiver, DB coach.
Yeah, that must be nice when your brother's the quarterback and your receiver. You know you're getting the ball, or when you get home, there's going to be some problems.
I think Bobby was a quarterback at Wasco years ago. Eric Smith, the new head coach of Shafter, replacing Brian Nixon. Ryan Renz, Brian Kerr, and Dirk Majunkin are the assistants for Shafter High. Wasn't Dirk at West High at one time?
I believe so, and I know Ryan Renz played at West High in the late 80s.
2nd and 9 for Wasco. Pitch back, Daryl Moore. Cuts back, slices way for a gain of about 4 or 5 yards. Now Wasco begin to open up some holes against that Shafter D.
Yeah, you know, and big runs have a way of getting off the lineman juiced up and your back juiced up.
Let's put a smile on that face. We're on the Shafter side this evening from General Territory. Shafter 6, Wasco nothing. Shafter looking to ring that victory bell after the game. Moore hit in the backfield on drop after a gain of about a half yard. It'll be 4th down for Wasco. Kind of a delay play, but Shafter come up with a big stop on D. Eric Smith and his crew from Shafter. Dan Thiessen, the head man of Wasco. Remember, Wasco ran that run-oriented offense for a number of years, and then Dan's come back to a more diversified offensive set for the Tigers. Split backs behind Lowen, 4th down, we're going for it. His pass is complete. 1st down on Moore, number 30. They can't bring him down. He fumbles the ball though, and Shafter recovers. Wow.
Josh Porter recovers the fumble. You know, that's just a tough break for Jose Andrade because he's doing what you asked him to do. He's fighting his heart out to get up, pick extra yards up, and try to score. As you'll see the quick out right here, nice catch with the hand. Puts his shoulder down, breaks a couple tackles, stays in bounds. And then right now he's just trying to pick up extra yards and just, oh, it's out of bounds right there when he stripped that ball. Oh, Shafter General ball.
Looked like his feet were out of bounds.
Yeah, it did, but it's gonna go down the record as a fumble.
I'm not the official though. 1st down for Shafter, 8:55 to play 2nd quarter. Almond breaks the tackle in the backfield. To the 20, 25, finally, Cleveland down. And probably a personal foul against Wasco.
Yeah, then they're gonna call.
Let go of him.
They're gonna call a late hit right there. But Almond just carries guys when he runs the ball.
Personal foul penalty charge to the Tigers.
That was a tough break on Andrade though. Makes a great catch. Fights for yards and fumbles the ball deep in Shafter territory. Shafter comes back with a 1st down run. Then you have a personal foul against Wasco, so the momentum really changes there.
Yeah, and you know, anytime you're in a rivalry game like this, momentum can swing. I mean, back and forth all game long. It's just one of those things that happens. You know, you never hold it for too long.
Generals at their own 37-yard line. Plus shotgun, shooter to run. 45, puts his head down. And he has dribbled down the 49-yard line.
On the quarterback.
Roberto Hernandez Has been the defensive start for Wasco tonight. Number 34, he's seen there, Brian.
Yeah.
Right off a block and makes a tackle.
And right here, she just slow to get up too after this tackle. As you'll see right here, it kind of comes down and goes face first right there, and right shoulder kind of gets pinned under there.
We saw a great shot of Umberto falling off a block or bouncing off making a tackle.
So you're hoping he's okay. Looks to be okay, shaking it off. He's a tough kid.
Ricky Ishida, number 10 for Shafter. Quarterback, defensive back, punter, Nabbit.
So he's what you call, you know, when they just athlete. That's his label. You know, he just does it all. He's an athlete. He has no one designated position. He does it all.
One thing about Ricky, he likes to put the ball on the ground. He likes to run with the ball. If he sees an opening, not afraid to put his head in it either.
Yeah, he's not shy of contact at all. I mean, he does a good job with a lot of good backs and good runners do. They initiate the contact. They get to you before you get to them.
He's a very physical player. 2nd and 4 for Shafter. Inside the 50-yard line from number 49. 8:42 to play in the first half. 6-0 Generals. Fullback with a ball. Gets off the midfield and driven back.
Number 33, Isaac Alamon on the carry for the Generals.
Alamon. They have a gain of a half yard. 2nd and short for Shafter at midfield. That was Ishida. Looks to the sideline for his next play. Wasco cheerleaders are pumped up. They want to ring that Tiger bell, Tiger victory bell after the game this evening.
Well, one thing's for sure, somebody's going to ring it.
Big roll, wide for Shafter. Ishida from the shotgun. Allman next to him. Play action, Ishida to throw. Plenty of time, looking deep. On the left sideline, incomplete. Title receiver number 30. Matt Crown for Shafter. Good covered by Wasco.
Yeah, you know, I thought Crown was going to run the corner route, which I thought was wide open, but they went back upfield, and you know, that's some things you can kind of game plan. You can come back and say, you know, Coach, we had this play. If we go out to the corner, it'll be wide open.
Oh, that's what you would say. Throw me the ball. Ishida to the punt from the 45. Nice and high. Rolls sideways to about the 19-yard line. It will be first down for Wasco. Down 6-0, 7-1 to play, first half. That is the Wasco Shafter game. On Time Warner Cable Channel 31. Digital 106. Zach and the gang from PWC tonight. Doing a stupendous job. Wasco would like to get a nice drive going here and get on the scoreboard. I thought this would be a high-scoring game.
Yeah, I did too, you know, but both defenses have stepped up.
Well, it's kind of like for all the marbles for both teams. Wasco the first down inside their 20-yard line. Down 6-0 to Shafter. Smith talked to his troops on the sideline. One thing about this game, the stands are always filled to capacity here. You have people lining up behind the goalpost. You have stands to the right of us behind the goalpost and to the left of us. Plenty of fans lining up. Little concession stands and just ready to book and party.
Oh yeah, you know, and they have some really good chili here, as we found out last year.
These cities are about 7 to 8 miles apart. They've been playing this game for, I believe, about 80 years or longer. And Shafter holds the advantage. First down for Wasco.
All right, Crown, help us out.
Simon Malone, the quarterback. Moore from the backfield. In about 5 yards.
Let's go.
Josh Porter on back for Shafter. Making a stop.
Tell you, Moore really does hit that hole quick. So right here, Moore's gonna get the ball, just hits the hole quick, big hole, and then gets wrapped up about the 5-yard gain.
Quarter time bounce off a blocker. Long to throw the pass. Pick the line! The other side. He may go all the way. Midfield 50, 40, 40. Forget it. He's taking it to the house. Touchdown, Wasco Tigers.
And Tony Reese just really showed us some speed as he caught the ball. You know, he catches the ball, guy falls off, and he just leaves the rest of the defenders from the Generals.
We're talking about a speedster nomination.
Well, we definitely have to put him in the pot because he took off and he caught the ball.
Yeah, he bounced off the defender. And it was a race down the sidelines. PAT is up, it's good. By Ruiz. Wasco 7, Shafter 6. Fireworks galore. Second quarter. I love it.
You know, one play and things have changed already. And right here, you're going to see Reese as he just takes off. There's not going to be a general even close to him as he runs away from everybody.
Tony with a great stride. And scores Wasco's first touchdown tonight. Also kicks a PAT. 7-6 Tigers. The Generals have arrived. We have a ball game. Wasco 7, Shafter 6. I talked about the fact that Wasco needed to mount a serious drive, but they scored in 2 plays.
Yeah, forget the drive, huh?
Yeah.
Just hit him quick.
Ruiz with a speedster play so far in this game.
Oh, yeah.
7-6 Tigers. He kicks off. Line drive. Almond takes it on the run. Across the 25-30. Breaks it outside 30, 35, 40-yard line. You got to throw him down. He has been a tough man to handle tonight for the Wasco Tigers.
Oh, Almond's been a great kick returner. I mean, he's getting 30 yards a pop on kick return.
Eyes look for Isak Almond. And Shafter, after on 47-yard line. Great field position. 6:40 play here in the second quarter. A shooter behind center. Almond, big opening. Across midfield into Wasco territory. On the 48-yard line. Nice count, first down for Shafter. Well, second and about 4 for the Generals. Well, the shooter's ability to throw the ball, Shafter's has some big holes to win against Wasco tonight.
Well, like I said, he's one of those double threat type of quarterbacks that can run the ball or throw. And then you let Almond start getting off, and I mean, they're racking up yards, but they're not able to put the ball in the end zone.
Final most for Shafter. Fullback has the ball. Follow up. After Generals about a half yard. The wet 85 PE for Wasco. Done a good job in there. Number 54 for the Tigers. Over Chris Wadle, inside linebacker. We talked about the fact that for the most part, Wasco has short up their D in this game.
Since that first drive, I mean, Wasco's D has come up with some big plays when they needed to. But, you know, it's a lot of game left to play, and so we'll have to see what happens.
Third down. Push back Almond. Has the first down, out of bounds, close to the 40-yard line. He has been a low hound for Wasco tonight. Almond, number 33.
Yeah, when Almond has room to run like this, I mean, he runs hard, runs through tackles, and he's another one like Ricky. I mean, they're looking to put some punishment on the defense.
Williams, Esparza, Garza, Beltran, Kawama up front for Shafter, leading the charge. First and 10 for the Generals. Clock will stop at 5:14 to play, second quarter. Wasco 7, Shafter 6. Now a penalty flag. Legal procedure against Shafter. 5 yards. It'll be first and 15 for the Shafter Generals at the Wasco 46-yard line. A mark wide left for Shafter. Almond since out of the backfield. 40, 35, on his horse, 25. They finally drag him down. Outside the 10-yard line. Isaac, also known as Isaac Almond.
Yeah, right here you're gonna see, I'm gonna start calling him IA. IA comes down there with the big run. Again, I mean, he just runs hard, and I mean, the guy grabs him right there, and he drags him 5 more yards. I mean, this kid is strong.
While coming into the game, he had 710 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns, over 5 yards per carry. Almond again, powers him up the middle, for gain of about a yard. Shafter inside the Wasco 15-yard line. Second down, second and 9 for Shafter. Knock on the Tiger door, 4:42 to play, first half. Shafter has control of the game, but Wasco scored 1 big play.
Yeah, they definitely had, you know, time possession in their favor. But you got to put points on the board.
Going wide right for Shafter. Pitch back Almond. Go reverse. Coming the other way. Great play by 44. Defensive play on Becker Hernandez. Number 34 smelled it out. He has made some major stops for Wasco tonight.
And he seems to be the guy whenever they need a big play, he's making it, you know. If it's pressure on the sheet on the 4th down play or right there, the big play.
Nickel Barker hurt on the play. He was a man who received that handoff. Number 15 for Shafter, wide receiver, also the place kicker.
I would look for Crown on this play if they're going to throw a pass.
Big roll wide right for Shafter. 3rd and long for Sheeta. Almond, getting about 2 yards. I thought the fullback moved early for Shafter. We will see what they call it.
Yeah, I did too, but they threw that penalty right there in the holding zone.
Holding against Shafter.
And another 10 yards from the spot of the penalty.
Well, Shafter somewhat killing themselves in this drive. With 3:27 to play, second quarter.
And the penalty was declined.
4th down. 4th and 20 for Shafter. Also on the Wasco 20-yard line. Shafter has to get inside the 5 for 1st down. And they were going for it.
Well, I would try to get Crown from that slot position to go to the corner route. As you see the safety, there's no way the safety can come over and get him.
Machida throw looking left, plenty of time. Towards the end zone. It is knocked away, incomplete. Number 9 for Wasco, Abraham Castillo. With the defensive play.
And right there, you're going to see Castillo jump up and just swat it out the air like Shaquille O'Neal.
Good job.
That makes a great play.
Do I see some of the Wasco fans pointing? Oh, come on, 7-6. Watch out.
They're on the scoreboard. They got off the donut. Now they're trying to add to it in the next 2 minutes and 52 seconds.
As we see Allman on the Shafter bench. He has had a great first half for the Generals. Ball at QB for Wasco, looking right, sets up. One on the right sideline, man-to-man coverage. Caught by Ruiz, he breaks loose, he will go again. Goodbye, 20-10, touchdown Wasco. I don't believe it. Lightning strikes twice.
Woo! And man struck twice, but it struck differently. This time he just pulls a Randy Moss, jumps up, snatches the ball away. And then once he catches it, he just runs away. It seems to be a theme the last few weeks. We have these players going for the Roadrunner Online High-Speed Speedster of the Week. And it seems to be like they have 2 or 3 plays for us to pick from. I mean, here again, he picks another play.
Wow. Tough to have man-to-man coverage on him. He's a kicker too. He's accounted for all the points for Wasco. Number 5, Tony Ruiz. What a ball game he is having. Big play, Tony.
I mean,
touchdown,
and Tony's also playing defense. Right here, you're going to see it.
Nobody back on
Simon
the D.
Lowen throws it up, and he just goes up and attacks the ball, takes it away, comes down, and right there with his speed in this game, I don't think there's a guy on the field that can catch him when he's in the open field for Shafter.
He has a great stride. Runs like a track man.
You know, and this is the kind of game you want to have. You're a young man growing up in this rivalry. You know, to play like this in this game. I mean, you're talking about he's going to have memories for years to come.
Wasco 14, Shafter 6. 2:38 to play in the first half. We know about Wasco's early attack. Last week, Marcus Bauer was the man. 10 receptions for the Tigers. And a 1-point loss to the Hatchby.
You know, and this also helps out more with his running game. If you can do this, you can back the defense out and take away the man-for-man coverage in the 8-man front. And make the defense have to respect the pass.
The Shafter safeties were out on the play or covering somebody else because a play like that with this speed, you got to have somebody back. Onside kick recovered by Shafter at their own 42. So both teams have utilized that early in this game.
Yeah. I mean, you got to remember, too, anytime you go to the 8-man front or any kind of defense is designed to really stop the run with pressure, your safety has to cover somebody, so you're not going to have help up top. And that's why in that picture, you didn't see anybody in there except for the corner and the receiver. And Reese won that battle and came down and scored a second touchdown.
How about this? Wasco has an 8-point lead over Shafter. The Generals have control of possession time. But Wasco has made the big plays. That's football, though. Shafter is bogged down on a number of drives due to some of the penalties. And Wasco come up with a big play. Big plays on defense, big plays on offense. The shooter to throw looking left. Over the middle pass, incomplete. Garen, the 10 receiver for Shafter. Well, it's 20 receptions this year coming in. A couple of scores. Pass thrown low. Another receiver had double coverage.
Okay, crowd, we're going to say Wasco, and we want you to come back with We're going to say, are you ready? And you say, yeah. And we say,
Figueroa wide right for Shafter. Triple up for the Generals. Ricky Ashita. The middle of the defense. He'll run it. 40. Thrown down. Great tackle at the line of scrimmage. Soto.
Yeah, Soto gets in there.
Good job.
Does a good job of holding on to the jersey and then just pulls him down.
Well, Wasco's had the ability to really toughen up in this game defensively when they've had to. Been very tough on third and fourth down plays.
They've been kind of more like a bend, don't break defense. You know, not really a stifling stuff, defense, but they, giving up little yards, but they've gotten tough once they've gotten to the.
Been effective for them though.
Inside the 20-yard line.
Well, watching three people. Wasco. Sheet of the throw. Post put over the middle. It is incomplete. His man had a step on the Wasco D. Pass just overthrown.
And that's a Barker. He's back in the game, and he almost came up with a big play.
Well, Shafter just lets it fly. Let's see the pass again.
I mean, right there, close, but just couldn't reel it in.
Mike Fenderson on the coverage for Wasco number 20. The shooting to the punt. Line drives it, barely got it off. Picked up by Ruiz. 25 yard line, going right now. Looking for a block to the 30, 35. Look at the speed to the 40, 45. Touchback, midfield 50. He's still going and finally down. Tony Ruiz at the Shafter 48-yard line. The Wasco fans are juiced. They are pumped. They're ready to rock and roll.
I mean, Ruiz speed right here. This is what he's using. He's going on the sideline return. He runs by a couple Shafter generals, runs through a tackle right here, and gets a good block. And right here, the cutback on the Sheeta. And he's finally wrapped up, but not before he puts a big return, about 25 yards on the generals.
Only about him, his ability to catch the ball, Ron, but he's also very strong. He tends to break a lot of tackles. You got to hit him hard. Moore, look at a big opening to the 40, 40, to the 20-yard line. Look at the speed. They finally bring him down. Wasco on the march inside the 15-yard line, Shafter territory.
And
the pass opening up the run.
That's it. I alluded to it earlier, and now, right here you're going to see Moore come up the middle, run, and he runs to attack. I mean, and then use his speed, and the Sheeta's going to do a good job of laying out and barely gets him on the foot and pulls him down.
And
save the touchdown. But the two things go hand in hand, running and passing, and teams that are successful do a really good job of both aspects of the game.
Battle wide left, ball getting to Daryl Moore. Powers his way forward for about a gain of 5 yards. Didn't look like much, but the Wasco offensive line pushing forward. Chris Waddle, Joey Sabala, Alvin Snow, David Espinoza, Jeff Oxford and company. Timeout. Dan Thiessen has to talk to his troops. As they look to score again before the conclusion of the first half. 47 seconds left. Wasco 14, Shafter 6. Alma and Ashita have been the offensive stars for Shafter tonight, but Ruiz for Wasco has made some big plays, speedster plays.
Yeah.
Well, Wasco D has come up with some great stops. Talked about number 44, Hernandez, made some great plays on defense.
Well, the Shafter defense really was stifling to the Wasco offense, and then, Reese and Lowen hooked up with Reese on the first touchdown pass, and then came back again, and now it's kind of opened up the. It's really boosted the confidence of the team.
Yeah.
As you can see on this drive, these linemen now are firing out, and they're opening some holes.
Headed back, the bounces off, and he'll probably lose a couple. About 5 or 6 generals on the tackle. Ashita there. Number 3, Tony Figueroa.
And I think Shafter had all 3 of their timeouts. Wasco. I think they used the timeout. So with 39 seconds left, and third down, they can take a shot in the middle of the field and try to pick up the first down, or into the, and try to pick up the first down and still have a chance to call a timeout.
They can get a first down inside the 5-yard line of Shafter. Shafter has been in the situation so many times tonight where they could get a first down inside the Wasco 5, but
some kind of penalty pushed them back, yes.
They move the ball between the 20-yard line.
Like I said, with 39 seconds, if the ball's not completed and they get a first down, let's say stop short of the end zone, what they can do is they can hustle up, get to the line. There should be about 15, 16 seconds, and just throw the ball down the first down, and they'll still have a play and a timeout.
Eric Smith runs off the field, the Shafter high coach. Low on QB looking right. Push from the backside. Better unload it. throws it incomplete on the far side, threw it away.
Oh, got a late
made
hit.
a personal foul against Shafter.
Rough from the quarterback.
Yes, it is.
There it is.
The pressure was coming from the backside of Simon. He unloaded it.
Yeah, you don't want to make those kind of mistakes.
So Shafter had about 3 personal fouls in the game tonight.
And that's uncharacteristic of them. They're another team that doesn't. Both these teams are well coached in that aspect. You don't see a lot of personal fouls, even in an intense, heated rivalry.
Oh, we got Wasco, first down situation. Off the inside of the 10-yard line. That's first and goal for the Tigers.
Well, now with 1 timeout left, you know, I wouldn't try to run the ball, but you can throw it. You can have a chance now with 31 seconds to get off 2 pass plays, if not 3, to try to score.
Marcus Bauer wide left for the Tigers. Low on QB. Ruiz in motion. Pitch back. Daryl Moore. Look for a block. Cuts it inside. Close to the goal line.
They gotta get up. They gotta get up and hit and spike the ball down.
Second and goal for Wasco.
Defense, right there, defense. Top of that, defense.
And timeout, Tigers.
2 more defense.
And Moore was trying to get in there, but it was just stopped a little short.
General, go.
And the last timeout has been called, so 22 seconds.
It says second and 5, but isn't Wasco at about the 1-yard line?
Yeah, I thought they were pretty close to it, but you know.
It's hard to see from a vantage point. It
Yeah.
looks to be about the 1-yard line. Second and goal from the 1 or 2.
Well, there's no timeouts left, so at this point in time, it's going to be very hard to get your field goal team out to kick the field goal. So you have to get up. If you don't get in right here, you got to come right back and get another playoff.
You have to score for Wasco. This is a golden opportunity. Lowen. Daryl Moore. Dives to the end zone. Touchdown, Tigers. Wasco extends that lead. It is Wasco 20, Shafter 6. Tigers looking for the PAT.
Well, the Wasco Tigers have roared back in about 3 drives. Well, 2 quick ones and then 1 traditional drive right here, as you see Moore dive over for his first touchdown of the game.
The kick is up and it's good. Wasco 21, Shafter 6. Somewhat of a surprise to the Shafter faithful. Well, of course, we have 2 quarters to play. This game could get very exciting in the second half. Wasco has all the momentum right now, but things can change after the intermission.
You know, even though you're down 21-6, you do have a lot of things to build on in halftime. You have been able to drive the ball, control the ball. You just have some mistakes, so you got to tell your team, hey, you know what? We cut out the silly mistakes that we've made. Continue to do what we've done in the first half. Get our defense back. You know, we can get back in this game and we can win it. And if you're Wasco, you gotta use your combination of Moore and Reese to your advantage with their speed and quickness, and try to get them to make some big plays, because that's really helped them, is the big plays by those players, and then some small plays, because they haven't really been able to maintain a solid drive where they're pounding the ball out against it.
Well, should have controlled the ball. Now they've been able to move the ball on Wasco, but Wasco come up with some major defensive plays. If you're Wasco on offense, you want to eliminate mistakes in the second half.
Yeah.
They're rolling right now. You don't want to go Shafter easy scores.
No, they got to continue to make it tough.
So you have to be confident but not cocky. Onside kick. Wasco recovers, and Shafter territory. It went 10 yards. It should be Tiger ball.
It is.
They kind of scooted it. Shafter was backing up. They were not aware of it.
And that's what you want your special teams coach. His job is to watch those things. Are they leaving the line early? And they caught them. You know, they're trying to set their return. They're anxious to get back, scoot the ball on the ground, and let your kicker pick it up. And right there, yes, kicker picks it up right there. Reese, and what you usually do is let the other guys get in front, and they'll just kind of blow everybody out the way, and the kicker just falls on it. But he didn't have to on that
had 2
one.
onside kick. Shafter's had 1. Tigers will probably throw it up. 16 seconds left in the second quarter. Low on the throw from his 45. On the left sideline to Ballard. Almost picked off.
And then almost caught.
And almost caught by Ballard. In his hand. Abarca.
Abarca kind of bounces up. Good coverage. And right here you'll see ball thrown high. Abarca's going to go up. He's going to bounce off his shoulder pad and almost right back to Ballard.
Wasco's now attacking Garcia, Sheeta, and Abarca. The DB for Shafter in this game.
Well, they got another chance to do it again.
Can't wonder if Abarca's ankle is okay. Number 15 is somewhat limping. Now from Daryl Moore in the backfield. 45, 40, flag is down.
That's coming back.
Goes out of sidelines, goes 20, 10, and finally thrown out of bounds. But it may come all the way back. Hope that Daryl Moore's not hurt as he was drilled in the sidelines. Clock showing 0-0-0. At this point, the score is Wasco 21, Shafter 6. Half the half holding against the offense. You're watching the Prep Football Game of the Week on CNSI, Time Warner Cable, Channel 31. We are Digital 106.
Now, more than ever, the fun starts here. The new Roadrunner, the exciting high-speed online service where you can play the Fab Grab to win a trip to the My VH1 Music Awards, live December 2nd in Los Angeles. Plus, tons of cool prizes. Just find the Roadrunner and get an instant win gameplay, plus a grand prize sweepstakes entry. Check Roadrunner's top picks for details and catch the fun. Awarded highest customer satisfaction among high-speed internet service providers by J.D. Power and Associates. Call now.
We have a big family, and it's hard getting together sometimes. Now that Get runs on Sundays, we can meet for lunch and do some shopping.
Make life a little easier and ride Get any day of the week.
I love my job, but getting here and home used to be difficult. Now that Get runs later at night and on weekends, my life is a lot easier.
Make life a little easier and ride Get evenings and weekends.
Get here, get there, get everywhere.
You have a home video, or 2 or 3, and you want your family, friends, and neighbors to have a copy. Where do you go? Time Warner Productions, of course. We'll make copies of your tape using high-quality professional tape, label it, and house it in a sleeve for protection, and have it ready for you in no time. We accept VHS, SVHS, VHS-C, Betamax, Mini-DV, and 8mm videotape. We'll even convert to and from foreign formats. We can even edit and print pictures from your videos. Got a broken tape? We can fix that too. Just stop by the Time Warner Cable office on Select or call for more information.
Fox NFL Sunday, this is our first day. We are saying thank you to one of the greatest hockey players ever to play the game. For the third time in a row, they are the world champions.
The network that revolutionized sports television now is redefining sports radio.
We're the only radio show that has a regular staff psychologist perfectly qualified to discuss sports talk radio.
Fox Sports Radio.
Shafter 6 of the half. Now let's watch and listen to the Shafter High General Marching Band.
Hello, sir. I'm from Acme Satellite Dishes.
No thanks, Doc. I got Time Warner cable.
Don't you wish for a dish?
Nope, got great channels with cable.
But a dish is a beautiful thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's easy to install.
Uh-huh.
And you can get channels from all over Earth.
Do you charge more for local news and weather?
Who needs that?
I thought I saw a forecast for rain.
Call Time Warner today for special savings on digital cable. Call now.
Fox NFL Sunday, this is our first day. We are saying thank you to one of the greatest hockey players ever to play the game. For the third time in a row, they are the world champions.
The network that revolutionized sports television now is redefining sports radio.
We're the only radio show that has a regular staff psychologist perfectly qualified to discuss sports talk radio.
Fox Sports Radio.
About half of it is Wasco 21, Shafter 6 from General Territory. As we see the Shafter Generals coming out to the field with the balloons. Shafter looking for a big second half. The interesting thing about this game, Brian, is the fact that Shafter has dominated the game as far as possession time, but Wasco's made the big plays.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is, Mark. What we've had is Shafter came out in the first drive, really 2 big pass plays, scored. And then offensively, they've moved the ball, but they haven't been able to punch it in due to penalties. And then Wasco's just kind of hung in there, and then has taken advantage of 2 big plays, and then a couple big runs on the last drive, and a dive over to be up 21-6. So
2 big catches and runs by Tony Ruiz and a long run by Daryl Moore. And the Wasco came alive in the second quarter, offensively.
Yeah, and really the end of the second quarter, like in the last 5 minutes of that quarter. So they showed that they had the ability to strike quick, and if the defense can continue to hang in there and not give up a touchdown, it's going to be very difficult for the Generals to get back in it.
A big key for the Tigers is the fact they scored just before the first half ended. That has to be a big confidence booster for them.
3-3-3-1.
But so far, Tony Ruiz is leading candidate for the Roadrunner High School Online Speedster of the Week. He has showed speed, ability to shake off tackles. He's also kicked 3 PATs.
And recovered an onside kick, so.
For Shafter, Vicky Sheeler's had a good game, as has fullback Isaac Alleman. Alleman, from breaking tackles right and left throughout this game, has also shown his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield.
Yeah, Alleman's been super out of the backfield, catching the ball on both running. He's physical. He's run over guys, dragged guys. He's basically kept him going. Well, you know, Mark, Wasco should be getting the ball back to start the game because Shafter started, so momentum was definitely on their side, and I think they need to go back to trying to not forget about Reese and find a way, like you said. I still think they should find a way to get the ball to Moore in the passing game as well.
Use both of them.
Yes.
They're both game breakers. Every year Shafter, they'll probably continue to throw the ball. They've been able to move the football against Wasco. For Wasco, continue with your big playability, but make sure you don't make mistakes. Don't give Shafter a 20 or 30-yard drive. Make them work for their touchdowns.
Yeah, and I definitely agree. I think for Wasco, you want Shafter to take 6-7 minutes to score. You don't want them to be able to make 2 big plays and get right back into it.
Well, Shafter was one of the last 3 games in the series. They lead the overall series against Wasco. Shafter kicks off to begin the third quarter. Pick up by number 2 for the Wasco Tigers. They come out in the second half. A couple of Shafter Generals on the tackle. Number 2, Fred Island, the return man for Wasco. The Shafter fans trying to get up to the task here in the second half. as they try to exhort their team. Shafter wants to ring their victory bell, as does Wasco.
Well, you know, I guess they were saying the guys that are seniors for Wasco, they've never seen the victory bell rung in this series, so they have a 15-point lead, and they want to hold on to it.
Well, as I say, it's always the first time for everything. Pitch back. Number 2 breaks a tackle. First down, Moore. Look at that speed. To 50, 45. Finally thrown out of bounds. Big play, Wasco. Fred Island. Wow, looks like Daryl Moore.
And Fred Island gets to the outside, but I'm going to tell you, Tony Reese now is throwing blocks. He's coming down and he's cracking back on linebackers.
Looks like Reese, Island, Moore, they have guys that can fly. And Wasco in this game taking advantage of their speed. The Tigers 1-8 coming in. 1-4 in the South Dakota League. Shafter 1-7-1. 0-5 in the SSL. The Mark and Brian show on TWC was Zach in the game. We run it back. A flag is down.
Oh, that's too bad. That's in the holding zone right there. They'll be going back about 12 yards, depending on where they're calling the hold at.
That was McCurdy, the ball carrier for Wasco, number 42. Penalty against the Tigers. Over Wasco, you want to be confident but not cocky.
Yeah,
There's still a lot of football left in this game.
Oh, yeah, and it seems like Wasco is just taking Shafter's page. You get good yardage and then a penalty and you push yourself back.
Bow wide left for the Tigers. Tom Malone remains a quarterback. Island to the outside. Dives forward. Close to the original line of scrimmage.
You know,
Mr. Island can run with the ball.
Yeah, and Island's showing that he can run the ball, and he's only a junior. But I'm thinking that Moore may be hurt because, you know, he was shaking up a little bit at the end of the game. And right here, Island gets outside, bounces out.
Put that ball away, Fred.
Yeah, he has to work on that. Some ball security.
Hold that ball out. Bow wide left for the Tigers. Second down 11 for Wasco. It's after territory. For the Island again. Hit hard and dropped at the line of scrimmage. Number 20 on the tackle. Kirschman for Shafter. Number 11 calling the defensive signals. Adam Hernandez for the Shafter Generals. Third down 10 for Wasco. And they could be in two-play territory here. Maybe not, though. At the Shafter 41-yard line. Simon Lowen looking right, sets up. Throws left side, incomplete. Off the fingertips of Marcus Ballard. A bark on the coverage for Shafter, fourth down for Wasco.
I'll tell you, you know, Lowen showed a really strong arm. He threw an out to the wide side of the field and really has some zip on it, too.
Marcus Ballard had 10 receptions last week. 29 coming into the game for 453 yards and 3 touchdowns. He has been somewhat quiet this evening, but they're throwing him. Flag is down, line drive punt. David a Shafter territory, goes out of bounds. How about the half-guard line?
If it holds up, that's a great punt.
Franz DeWet.
May be coming back. Yes, it is.
Yes, legal procedure against Wasco. DeWet's punt was not perfect, but very effective. But it's coming back. So a couple penalties against Wasco here in the third quarter.
Yeah, you couldn't have got any better at that punt, huh? Half of your hard line.
Beautiful.
All right, let's go, General.
Unfortunately, it doesn't count. Now you have a time of games for Shafter and Wasco where you really have to focus on what you need to do to win this game. Wasco 21, Shafter 6-9, 29 playing a third. You've had an intermission. Both teams come out, not quite as pumped up as they were in the second quarter.
I think if you're Wasco, you can't let up like you alluded to, and if you're Shafter, you got to make something happen. You still got to, you have to force it, but you have to make something happen.
Brett kicks it away. By far up the sideline. And then for Shafter, it'll be Garcia.
And that, an example of penalty costing yard is that penalty cost them basically about 22 yards right there. Instead of 99.5 yards to go, now they only have to go 86 or 87.
Can you imagine if Shafter was at their half-yard line? They have some room here throwing 23, which doesn't lump it as much better.
No, they dodged a big bullet right there.
The fans have quieted down quite a bit here at Shafter High School. Now let's make some noise. All those Wasco fans. Ashita, the run up now. Tries to slip attack, goes down. Looked like he had a chance to gain 4 or 5 yards, but Wasco did a great job containment. DeWitt, number 41 for the Tigers. On the tackle, that'll be Christian Soto. Nose guard for Wasco.
Yeah, they've done a really good job against that little draw play on Ashita in that second quarter, and then continuing here in the third.
Kind of broke a couple of them long early in the game, but they've been able to contain after that. They're taking that play away from his arsenal. Gilrain Crown to the right side for Shafter. Second down 9 for the Generals. The shoot over the center, sets up, throws complete. Very short gain. Couple of Tigers on the attack. On the prowl.
I'll tell you, one thing I like to see the Generals try to do, if you watch when the defense is setting up, and we'll see right here, they're going to run a quick hitch to the outside guy. He catches it, not much yard gain.
Ramirez 33 and Manston 21 for Wasco.
But Mark, watch when they line up. There's not a safety back there sometimes, so there might be a situation where you can get your slot man one-on-one, give a move to the outside, go into the corner, and go back to the post.
Let's hear it with Shea. Shea's got to move. Let's go. Offense. Let's go. Let's hear it with
Wasco's been playing primarily with a 3-man defensive front, now 4 up there.
Let's go. 2 more with Shea.
The shield center, 3rd down 6. Pump fakes it. The pass tipped away, almost picked off. By number 20 for the Tigers, Mike Fenderson. It was tipped by 21, Jermaine Maston.
Let's go, Generals.
Well, the Barker, they weren't on the same page right there because he didn't even look back for the ball. He was bringing up a 4th down, a punting situation.
Randall is back deep for Wasco. Vickers shooting the punt for Shafter. That'll be 4th and 7 for the Generals. 7:39 to play here in the 3rd. Wasco 21, Shafter 6. The shooter's punt takes a Shafter roll. Wasco will have their own 38-yard line.
Well, Daryl Moore is back in the game, so it's interesting to see what happened on that first series, or interesting to find out, rather.
Remember, he took a big spill after that long run in the second quarter.
And that's what I was thinking too, but he's back out there. You know, he's a tough little dude.
So Fred Island was a junior. He has nice speed. Bauer coming wide left, Ruiz. Wide right for the Tigers. Ruiz covered one-on-one by Ashita. But giving him plenty of room. Daryl Moore sinks his way, fumbles the ball, and Wasco falls on it. Number 64 for the Tigers. Good play by him.
David Espinoza did a great job of recognizing the balls on the ground and hustling to go get it.
Nobody's watching the ball.
No, here is right here. We'll see.
Scanning around.
We'll see Moore come through. Ball's popped out there.
Nobody saw it.
And here's Espinoza coming to clean it up. And keeps the ball for the Tigers.
No fumbles. Heads up play by the offensive lineman.
And yeah, that's what we're talking about. A turnover right there. It's a really short field.
2nd and 10 for Wasco. Laurent, play action, rolling to his right. Gets away from the rush. Fires a long downfield for Ruiz. Incomplete. Covers by Ashita.
And Ruiz had to step again.
Yes,
so, I
he
mean,
did.
You can see it. This young man has a lot of speed, and he's very dangerous when he's
Well,
out
I'm
there.
surprised they're single covering him.
Well, not only a single cover, but the fact that the safety's not even anywhere he can even come close to making a play.
He's got 1-1 all his pass plays. They'll give him about 8-9 yards on the defense, but still very tough to cover.
Yeah. And I'm all for aggressive defenses, but you have to mix it up. You can't always just keep the same defense out there. They'll be able to a point where they can pick it apart.
Aaron Garcia, the free safety, is basically watching the quarterback Lowen.
They'll probably go back to the out.
Lowen, play action. Back to Lamore. Outside, slips a tackle, cuts back. Midfield 50, driven down, first down for Wasco. Number 1, Walton had a chance to attack for Shafter. Couldn't get to him though.
Yep, and Moore just runs by him, and that's what you were asking about earlier, is getting the ball to Moore in the pass.
Ruiz, number 5. Sprung for another 7 yards.
Yep, and helped pick up the first down, but they called a flip like that.
But a penalty against Wasco. So the Tigers, like Shafter in the first half,
kind
of hurting themselves with these penalties, moving back and forth, back and forth.
Well, I thought it was a good call. I thought Reese hit a sheet in the back, and they called it and moved it back.
So what I thought was a good block was a block in the back. But it's very tough to block a DB downfield if you're a wide receiver. Battle by left for Wasco. 3rd and long for the Tigers. 6:20 play, 3rd quarter. Long to throw. Draw play. Island out of the backfield. Gets about 9 yards back. As he's across the 45-yard line. 4th down, 4th and 12 for Wasco. Now Francis DeWitt will punt it away for the Tigers. That was on 25-yard line. Aaron Garcia back deep for Shafter. Standing alone his own 20-yard line. 21-6 Wasco. DeWitt line drives it away from Garcia. Takes it on the bounce, picks it up. They lose one man, lose another. To 30, 35, and knocked out of bounds.
And that's a nifty little return by Garcia
nice
there.
Return.
Did a good job of filling that ground punt. And then picked up some positive yardage and giving the Generals a good field position once again, and they have to try to figure out this defense to put some points on the board.
Good tough run back by Garcia. For the Island made a tackle for Wasco.
What's going on there, Mike? Mike, the cameraman.
The boys from Time Warner Cable, TWC. Wasco 21, Shafter 6, 5:33 to play in the 3rd from Shafter High School. Our final regular season game of the year. Next week is playoff time. That's a shot from our cameraman, Carlos.
¿Qué pasa, Marco?
You. First down for Shafter on the shotgun, cheated to throw over the middle. The pass picked up at midfield 50 to the 45-40. Box in front of him, gets a great block to the 20, cuts back, almost a face mask. First down for Wasco, deep in Shafter territory.
And that's Sergio Rios with interception number 2 on the night. And right here, Sheeta's thinking the receiver's looking, and he's not, throwing a little bit behind him.
Looking like Tigers are back in the
Rios does a good job of picking it off. The safety was on top. They had inside-out coverage, and does a great job becoming an offensive player with the return. And put the brakes on right there, and a couple guys running right by.
Wasco got about 3 DBs. He kind of dropped back to his zone. It's been very effective against the Sheet in this game. And some of the Shafter receivers, as you said, Brian, have not been looking back for the ball.
Right. And the one thing that the Wasco defense is doing, they're mixing up their coverage. I mean, one time they're going, there's no safety back, everybody's manned up. The next time there's a safety deep, they're inside out, he's over the top, the defensive backs are inside, and they're just doing a good job of mixing it up. And right there, to make matters worse, is a personal foul attached into this play.
And Wasco have a first down situation. Inside the 10-yard line of Shafter. The Tigers looking for more. Ballard wide left. Island, the tailback, has the ball up the middle. Nice hold, tries to bounce off. Maybe gets up to about the 7 or 8 yard line before he is driven back. Well, number 54 for Shafter, that would be Thomas Stevens.
Over the left side where he's initially brought or hit by...
Well, run up the middle has been difficult for both teams tonight. I think when they've gotten a chance to go outside off tackle is when they've had the greatest success in the running game.
Garcia, Garza, Stevens, Williams up front for Shafter. Garcia, Shida, Abarca, DBs, linebackers Tony Figueroa, Lee Waldron, Josh Porter, Adam Hernandez. Second and goal for Wasco. 4:35 to play in the third. The Tigers on the prowl, pitch back. Daryl Moore to the outside. Tries to cut back against the grain. And swarmed over by the Generals. Did a great job flowing to the ball.
Yeah, the Generals rallied the troops on that play right there. Containment did a good job of making the ball carrier cut back to where the pursuit's coming, and the pursuit wiped him out.
Now we have third and goal for Wasco. At the Shafter 5 yard line. If you like a copy of tonight's game on Time Warner Cable, or any other local program on TWC, give us a call, 322-1941, 322-1941. Third and goal for the Tigers at the 5. Bauer wide left. Ball to QB, looking left, looking right. Lost behind to the end zone. Incomplete for Ruiz. Out of the end zone, fourth down. Will Wasco go for it? It will be 3 points. Ruiz is a good kicker.
Yeah, but he looks like he'll be kicking a little field goal. I wouldn't be surprised they tried a little fake right here either. Just trying to throw a fade to the corner.
Sheeta was back deep.
Yeah, that's just a tough pass to get off, but a safe pass that can't be intercepted. Either your man grabs it or it's incomplete.
Ruiz tries about a 24-yarder, has a distance. No good though. Wide left. They drilled that. So Shafter escapes that drive by Wasco. And the score remains 21-6.
So the Shafter General defense is doing what the Wasco defense did in the first half, is just keeping the team offense in it and just hoping they can make a couple big plays to win the game.
Well, Wasco makes out they have an 18-point lead over Shafter. Now they have a 15-point lead with 3:31 to play in the third. The game has slowed down considerably from the first half as far as excitement is concerned. Now the Shafter fans beginning to get into it. Trying to exhort their team from general territory.
Fullback move. Move it back 5 against the Generals.
So Alman, move this time for Shafter number 33. That'll cost him 5 yards.
And that's the one you've been saying earlier that you thought he's been moving, and they caught him on that one.
They can't throw this far. And for Shafter, it'll be 1st and 15.
Boy, they're tough on the General, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. The General's deep in the territory. Abarca wide right. Rick Yoshida, quarterback. Play action on the option. Bad pitch to Oman. Can't control it. Will be Wasco's ball. It is Tiger football. That was a dangerous pitch from Yoshida to Oman. He could not find the handle.
Right there, a little high. Alman tries to grab it with one hand, unable to control it, and the Generals come up, the Tigers come up with it. And once again, we'll have a chance, a golden opportunity to score.
Did you see who hit Yoshida? Humberto Hernandez.
From inside the 10-yard line once again.
Foul ball left for Wasco. Daryl Moore at tailback. Moore, ball carrier. Gained about 2 or 3 yards up the middle. Number 11, Hernandez will attack for Shafter. Adam Hernandez, number 11. Clock winds down here in the third. Wasco 21, Shafter 6. I think Wasco has a score on this opportunity. The second time they've been down low deep here in this quarter. I think you're the Tigers want to put Shafter away.
Oh, yeah, you definitely want to make it very difficult for that fourth quarter.
Sure. Ruiz wide right for Wasco. Long to QB, looking left, looking right. Lost it high for Ruiz. He's got it! Great catch! Touchdown, Wasco! He outfought Ashita for the ball.
Yeah, Ruiz got away with the offensive pass interference right there. He definitely reached out, put two hands on Ashita, pushed him out the way, and snatched it. But they didn't call it, and Ruiz is having a game in his career so far. 3 touchdowns, well over 100 yards receiving.
Well, ball game for Tony. And Ruiz also kicks a PAT for Wasco. 27-6 Tigers. 2:37 to play here in the third. Kick is high enough, it was good. Number 5, Tony Ruiz, having a great game against Shafter tonight.
And we're just seeing the replay, but we missed the part where he pushed off and grabbed it, but the rules are what they call, as Rick Newhouse used to say to us all the time at UCLA.
Well, it has some strength and hype on Rick Yoshida. And he follows the football very well. Will Shafter ring that victory bell? It is very quiet now. Wasco also ring their bell. They've lost 3 consecutive years to Shafter. The Tigers are seething for a victory.
Well, I think Shafter definitely has to answer on this drive right here with some kind of points.
Well, Wasco kick a deep with an onside kick. They should line drive it to about the 20-yard line or so.
Well, I know this. I wouldn't kick the ball over to the right return man.
Onside kick again. Let's recover at midfield.
And that could be a benefit of the Generals right there.
Great field position.
Exactly. You know, I think with a 28-6 lead, I want you to go as long as possible. If it's 80 or 90, that's what I want you to do. I don't want to give you a 50-yard field. But then again, when they've kicked the ball off, they almost put the ball onto the 40 anyway. So, I mean, you're talking about a 10-yard difference with his returning skills.
Well, Shafter was ready for that one. They were all set up to receive the onside kick. The Generals in midfield. Wasco 28, Shafter 6. 2:34 to play in the third. As Sheila QB for Shafter. Welcome to his fullback, hit and drop. After getting about a yard. Bombeto again for Wasco. Number 34. That guy has been a stud tonight for the Tigers.
Yeah, I mean, he's been really tough on any of those runs at the middle. He's gotten pressure on Ashita. Recovered the fumble, or right there by the fumble.
That's right.
I mean, his presence is being felt tonight.
Second line for Shafter at the Wasco 48-yard line, 49. Ball comes to Alma, hit the backfield, fumbles the ball. And he picks it back up. But he barely gets back to the line of scrimmage.
And you know, this game started like everything's gonna go Shafter's way. There were no mistakes. I mean, 4th and 15, you score a touchdown. And they just weren't able to take advantage of some good drives early in the game to put some points on the board. And you know, Wasco's been this big play Tiger ball. I mean, they really haven't driven the ball, but they've capitalized on big plays.
Well, Alma had a great first half, but they had trouble handling the ball here in the second half. Wasco's hitting a little bit harder. 1:15 to play in the third quarter. Wasco 28, Shafter 6. 3rd and 9 for the Generals. The Wasco 49. Sheeta going to his right, looking downfield, fires it, complete, first down into Wasco territory. Abarca with a catch of 45. First down for the Generals.
And right here, Sheeta rolls right, does a good job buying some time. Barker comes back down the line for him, picks up the first down. But there's a penalty flag.
Bring it back. Nice throw by Ricky. And that was one man downfield for Shafter. They'll bring it back. So another costly penalty for the Generals. Wasco's have some, but it hasn't hurt them. As Wasco made a big plays tonight on offense and defense. Shafter scored first. Wasco's tallied 20 consecutive points. After Shafter 3rd and 14. Ball 5 to play here in the third. They're shooting from the shotgun. Curry receivers to the side. Plenty of time, throws the left side. Picked up! He might go the other way! To the 30, 25. Another pickoff for Wasco. Wow, number 9. He's had a good game.
Abraham Castillo, yes he did. He had the swat down there on that big fourth down play. And right there, he read the out, he jumped it.
Laying back for it.
Yeah, he jumped out right here. And almost and should be putting the nail in the coffin. Woo! On the Generals right there, if they can put another touchdown on the board.
Waymaker Ruiz speaks to the Waco Wasco defense to get some nods too.
Yeah.
I'll give them a game ball. Give a game ball to Ruiz, give a game ball to the Wasco D so far.
Oh yeah, the Wasco defense has been, I mean, they've done an excellent job of keeping them in the game.
Daryl Moore bounces out to the outside. Across the Barker, 25, 20, falling out of bounds at the 15.
Daryl Moore on the carry for the Tigers.
That may be another first down for the Wasco Tigers. They're rocking and rolling.
And you take away that penalty at the end of that half, Daryl Moore would be well over 100 yards rushing the ball tonight.
First and 10 for the Tigers.
That has been all Wasco Tigers since the initial scoring drive by Shafter.
That's just a replay of the run. Went outside, he bounced it, made a big play, picked up a first down.
And Wasco inside the red zone once again for the third time in this quarter. I think that's McCurdy, the ball carrier for Wasco. Got McCurdy. Had a couple of carries here in the quarter, now limping somewhat. 4 back in the game for Wasco is Anthony Gonzalez, the fullback.
Now, that's one thing about both these teams. Both these teams, they come out and they hit each other, and you always see guys limping back, but they stay in there, and they play on all blood and guts in this game.
Well, tough guys that play for both these schools.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of these kids will not play in college, and for a lot of these seniors, their final game in high school. They're giving it their all. Lowen, looking left, looking right. For Ruiz, has got it. Hit immediately and dropped by Ashita after a short gain.
Reception made by number 5, Tony.
Now, she did a really good job right there, securing the tackle and making sure he got Ruiz down.
After 3, Wasco 28, Shafter 6. On Time Warner Cable, Channel 31, Digital 106.
You're watching the high school football game of the week on Time Warner Cable.
People everywhere are finding relief with Roadrunner High-Speed Online. Let's find out why.
When I had dial-up, I was knocked off while I was shopping online. It steamed me. Meep, meep. That bad old putty tat was hogging the internet. Dwayne couldn't talk on the phone.
Jumpin' Juniper! You mean you can be on the phone and the internet at once?
Meep, meep.
No more busy signals, less earthly confusion.
Don't wait to hear more. Call 323-4TWC today to get free installation. Roadrunner High-Speed Online. Let's go.
Come out with a taco pronto!
Okay, we'll begin the fourth quarter from Shafter High School. Wasco 28, Shafter 6. Tigers are deep in general territory once again.
Third and 6. They set up a slant on this far side to the wide side of the field.
Blowing the throw, looking left. Over the middle pass. Incomplete at the goal line. It's in for battle number 81 for Wasco. I think a flag is down, though, in the end zone. That's on the far side.
Pass interference.
Against Shafter.
It'll be a first down.
They probably hit the receiver too early. That was battle 81, the intended receiver for Wasco.
Yeah. But you can see by the formation they were setting up the slant. Receiver got so far out they couldn't run the fade from this side of the field. And you know, they didn't pull off the execution and score a touchdown. They got the first down with the pass interference call.
First down for Wasco. Reese wide left, Bauer wide right. Looked like he was going to pitch the ball to Joe Moore, but it's recovered by Shafter. Looked like Lauren Moore going to make connection.
Kirchman makes a big play right there, big opportunity play, and with 11 minutes left, there's still a lot of time.
You're right.
And they weren't able to capitalize, and really, I believe they'd have scored right there, would have ended the game, and they've opened the door.
3 times Wasco's been in Shafter's red zone in the second half. They score only once.
And that could come back to haunt them in a game like this, because you know it can turn quickly.
And that was poor execution on the pitch. 26, Wasco. A shooter and Shafter with the ball. Alman driving forward for about 5 or 6 yards. As it gets across the 15-yard line.
You know, and if you're Wasco, you don't mind those kind of runs. If they're going to drag it out like that and run the ball up the middle and go over 90 yards like that, that just works right in your favor because the clock is your ally.
Ruiz has 3 touchdown receptions today for Wasco. Moore has a score. Wheels has a couple of picks for Wasco. Castile has 1.
Oh, that's team football. You have that many guys contributing. And
Dr. Hernandez doing a great job up front. And of course the offensive line. Second 5 for Shafter. Alman, hit and drop after getting about a yard.
So that's, I mean, if you're the Tigers, you don't mind this kind of pace by the Shafter general offense.
Edwin Ramirez, number 33, and Corey Terry, 73. Final attack for Wasco. After Shafter 3rd and 4. Down 26. 10-3 play in the ball game. Receiver switch side for the Generals. Ricochet behind center. Ball all on right side. Here's Coastal first down. They're calling it a first down for Shafter.
And he's run hard all night long, and I mean, he just gives it his all. I really enjoyed watching him run hard tonight.
The yards come much use for Shafter running the first quarter and a half. After that, Wasco's been very stingy. But Shafter's going to have to go out more than 3 or 4 yard runs to get back to this ball game.
Yeah, they're going to have something a little more up-tempo, maybe some outs and stopping the clock.
Kevin wide left. Alman get ahead, the back on a drop. Wasco very tough against the run.
You know, and that's what you want.
That was the Weather, defensive end number 85. Maybe the initial stop. Castile came up number 9.
You know, and you're talking about that play started with a little over 10 minutes. By the time this play gets snapped, it's going to be about 9 minutes and 10 seconds. By the time it's over, it's going to be 9 flat. So, I mean, that's the kind of You just don't have the luxury that much time if you're the Generals to get back in this game.
Ashita, play action. Bob's over the middle. Complete, number 40. Push down for Schefter. And Wasco territory on the 47-yard line.
And that's the route.
Mr. Crown.
And that's the route I alluded to earlier with Crown that slot going out. And I told you it was open. They went straight up the field. You come back, and you'll see Ashita throws a nice ball out here on that corner route. And it's wide open because he's running away from the safety. You know, the secondary players are playing underneath and the safety's over top. He's running away from the safety. Pitch and catch. First down.
You know that Schaffer was setting Wasco with those running plays. Setting up play action. First down for Schaffer, 8:40 to play in the game. Ashita, on again. Has a little open again of about 7-8 yards. Powers forward to about the 40-yard line.
Number 33, Isaac.
That'll be second short for Schaffer.
Line carries the ball down to the Wasco 30.
You know that Schaffer scores, they will kick the onside kick.
Yeah, and not to score against another onside kick because of how the clock is against them right now. I think they have to get in and out of the huddle a little bit faster. Have to have a little more of a
little zip,
quicker pace and getting out of the huddle and getting their plays called. Like I said, they don't have the luxury of time on their side to be this delivery.
Second and short for Schafter. Barker wide left for the Generals. Pitch back. Alamon looking to cut back. Tripped up and dropped. Number 54. Great play for Wasco. Chris Waddle. And now a personal foul.
Yeah, and Alamon right there just lost. He's a little frustrated. He got tackled in the backfield. Lost his cool a little bit and just shoved.
Great pursuit by Waddle.
And you'll see right here, he did a great job of catching the pistols behind with one hand. Makes a cut back. Gets tackled. And right there, he's just frustrated, and we couldn't see the rest of it. There's just a little exchange, and he kind of gave him a good shoulder right to the referee, and he called it.
They didn't kick him out, did they?
And
personal foul against Schafter. Third and long for the Generals.
And they've had a few of those tonight that is just uncharacteristic of a Schafter General team.
For them. Well, they won 3 straight against Wasco. The Sooners never lost to the Tigers, and Schafter has dominated the series since about the mid-'80s.
Well, I think they have to go something downfield, and they have to get going. You know, they're going in the huddle and trying to run the ball with 7 minutes left. Just not enough time for that kind of offense.
Ashita, play action. Here comes the pressure. It's passing complete to Abarca.
And that's Soto. He's been on
some nice pressure on Ashita.
He really hasn't had too much time to sit up and throw like he did on some of the earlier passes in that first quarter. And that long pass we saw to Crown. But, I mean, right now, they're playing the ball, but I think you're in a situation now, down as many points you are, just a go for it kind of play. Flag down.
Pumps the high, but it doesn't have much length. It takes a Schafter roll to about the Wasco 27-yard line. 6:58 on the clock. Wasco 28, Schafter 6. We got kind of a penalty more second half here tonight.
Well, there's been a lot of penalties throughout the whole game, you know.
Well, pace in the second half has been much slower than in the second quarter for both teams.
And this calls against Wasco. At least they pointed towards Wasco.
Schafter trying to gain their first victory in the South School League this year. 0-5 coming in. 1-7-1 for the year. Wasco 1-4 and 1-8 for the season. Wasco obviously played very well against Tehachapi last week, losing by 1, and that has carried over into tonight's game.
Well, I think they have to go for this with 6 minutes and 58 seconds left. Fourth and about 6 or 7.
You have to go for broke.
Yeah, I think you got to go for this. You got to come up with a play. The best play you feel you can get some receivers in the routes and get beyond the first down marker and see if you can pick this first down up. I think if you don't get it or you punt, you're basically punting the game away, being down 22 points.
Number 77, Jason Williams. Number 50, Roy Esparza. Number 53, Ben Garza. Francisco Belton, 51. Miguel Parama, 78 up front for Schafter. Ashita to throw. Sets up, fires it. Complete to Abarca. Should be a first down for Shafter. Out of Wasco 35.
Now, I'll tell you, Barker did a good job running his route past the depth of the first down. He secured the first down, secured the catch, big fourth down play, and again, this time Wasco being hurt by the penalty. Right there, he's waiting for him. He's running the hook the whole time. Hits him on the hook, first down.
Rios will stop for Wasco. After Shafter, first and 10. Out of Wasco 45. Clock as the guy left for Wasco. Shooter will throw from the shotgun. Plenty of time. Sets up, fires it complete to Barca. Down to the 25-yard line. Another first down for Shafter.
So they had to get it up again, get it up again. 6:22, you don't have time to really sit and take as much time. They're rolling the clock already. You got to get in and get out, Ricky.
Completions by Ricky Yoshida.
Right there's a crossing right across the middle. And Barca is really getting going on receiving in the second half. He's making some big catches.
We expect a high-scoring game tonight. Yoshida looking left. Pump fake to the end zone to Barca. Incomplete. Just off his fingertips. Left corner of the end zone.
Well, you didn't catch it, but at least it stopped the clock. Right here, he's going to the corner, puts it up in the air, a lot of air on it. And the Barca just out on his left side. That wasn't a bad effort on both players' part.
Nice throw by the quarterback. Castillo covers for Wasco. Beautiful looking pass by Ricky Yoshida. Well, one touchdown toss tonight, 11 for the year. Ricky looking left, cuts up, flush out of the pocket. Breaks loose, fires it. Complete to Oman. Touchdown Shafter. Great play by Ricky Yoshida.
Yeah, and that's that double threat that we're talking about when you know, and people might be sitting at home and say, well, Wasco's really not trying to put a lot of pressure, and that's why, because he's able to beat people one-on-one most of the time. He buys himself some time, finds Elman all alone, touchdown.
Did a magnificent job of getting away from the rush, rolling to his left and firing into the end zone. They had about 4 outstanding passes in a row.
Well, I like the fact that they finally went to the airborne game, but I thought they should have done that a little bit earlier when there was 10 minutes left. You know, this drive is taking over 6 minutes.
Shafter will go for 2. 2 receivers wide to the right, Barker wide left. Shooter's pass incomplete. Throw it behind his intended receiver. I thought they wanted his wide out, move early, move forward, and call it. 28-12. Wasco. Oh, 1-0 Wasco Tigers. Be ready for the onside kick. I mean, don't be asleep on this.
He's going to straight arm right there, buy himself some time, stops, squares his body up, and fires a touchdown strike.
That is an outstanding athletic play. Show your strength, running ability, passing the ball against your body. Oh, did I tell Wasco that expect an onside kick?
Yes, you did. I think they're going to be ready for it.
Wasco's tried 3 against Shafter tonight. And Shafter's tried it once against Wasco early in the game. They're on those drives you mentioned. Shafter's running the football and using up a lot of clock. Once they got close to the end zone, they began to throw the ball.
Yeah, and I felt they kind of abandoned that wide open passing game in the second and third quarter, and up until the last 2 minutes of this game, they've gone back to it.
Well, the problem is Wasco held the ball so much in the third. They were inside the red zone 3 times. They only scored once, but held the ball quite a bit. Shafter held possession time in the first half. Look what we're going to try. Onside kick. And probably Shafter's offside.
Well, I don't know. It might be also. It's on this side. So that's usually the Wasco linesman. That's the line watching Wasco. They might have been inside the
well,
inside the zone.
Sideways, they didn't go 10 yards.
Yes, on Wasco. Number, I don't know what number was, but I know one of the players from Wasco was in that little neutral zone area that you can't be in.
Okay, Shafter will kick from the 45-yard line. Wasco 28, Shafter 12. 5-4 play in the ball game. The Wasco players are throwing 44.
This is one of those ones that people are expecting on onside kick. You get one of those little funny bounces, kind of bounces up and hits somebody funny, and then you pick it up.
That football can spin like a top.
Here it is.
Abarca. Right to number 54 for Wasco. That was an easy play for him.
Chris Manoa does a good job of securing the catch.
Well, bounce it perfectly away.
As you'll see right there, he has to kind of a little more air if he could, but I mean, that's a good opportunity. Just didn't have the coverage team close enough to make a play.
And he took a shot. If you got to scoop it one up like a shortstop, it will be a much tougher play. Wasco's ball at their own 44-yard line. The clock is our ally. That is the only for Shafter.
But they just can't completely just give in. They still have to run some time off this clock. They got to get about 2 or 3 minutes off.
Daryl Moore, ball carrier. Keep both hands on the football. As it puts it about a yard to the 45-yard line.
Because Shafter does have the ability to score quick. They do have a passing game. They can get the ball deep. They can score within 2 or 3 minutes. So you just can't totally just hope to run it all the way out. You got to make at least one first down here.
Albert Miles calling the defensive signals on the night for Shafter, number 11. Lou Walton, number 1. Looking to the sidelines, Abarca and Sheila, the corners for Shafter. Wasco should just run the football in the series. Use the clock. Or not. Long. Play action. Gains 5, puts his head down. Picks up about 8 or 9 yards. Nice bootleg move by the quarterback.
And right here, he's going to fake the ball to Moore. Bootlegs out. Does a good job of cutting up so it doesn't run towards the sidelines so they can stop the clock.
Look at him
puts
dive
his shoulder
forward.
down, runs over the defensive back, and, keeps the clock rolling.
3rd and short for Wasco. At the Shafter 47-yard line. Touchdown, Tony Ruiz, wide right for Wasco. Quarterback keeper. Long has a first down. For like driving back.
And a penalty.
Out of personal foul. As the rest try to separate some of the players.
He's sending 40 out the game.
Yeah, I think they're throwing out Josh Porter, number 40. After that hit. Personal foul against Shafter. Porter has been ejected. .406 to play in a ball game.
This is we'll see coming in, see if we can see anything.
I think I threw a couple of punches after the play.
Oh, man.
Now that is definitely a no-no.
Yeah. And there's no place for that kind of play in any level of sports.
The one thing, you can't fool the camera.
Nope. The eye in the sky does not lie.
For the Wasco Tigers, they have a first down at the Shafter 30-yard line. Wasco's looking to keep the ball on the ground and use up that clock. As this game is theirs, and I know they want it. They want to end that 3-year Shafter wing on them.
Well, that 3-year win streak is over. I mean, unless something really miraculous happens, you know, a muffed handoff and somebody picks up and runs it back in an onside kick. Other than that,
then we can have a fantastic finish. Ball on the QB for Wasco. Gives the ball to Daryl Moore. Flips a couple of tackles, gains about 7 yards. To the 23-yard line in Shafter territory.
You know, this is when you just, as the Wasco, now you're deliberate. You take your time and you don't want to snap the ball. There's about 2 or 3 seconds left on the play clock. Keep the ball in play.
Chris Weddle, Jeremy Sabala, Albie Snow, David Espinoza, Jeff Oxford doing a great job for the Tigers tonight on the offensive line. So the other guys can shine like Daryl Moore up the middle, inside the 20-yard line. He may have the first down for Wasco. As the clock continues to roll, continues to rumble for the Tigers.
Ford carries the ball down to the Shafter 19-yard line. First and 10 for the Tigers.
Do you know, I have never seen Wasco beat Shafter in this game.
And you're about to now.
This is my 8th broadcast of this rivalry. 5 on radio, 3 on TV.
Well, you're about to see it now. So with 2:51, you can do the Chick Hearns on it now.
There's only one Chick Hearn. I interviewed him about 2 months ago, though. The long drop on it. Quarterback keeper. To the 20, 15-yard line. Thrown down by Ashita. Stays in bounds. That clock continues to rock and roll.
And did you see how Lowen realizes he's getting close to the sideline, just kind of goes limp and falls on the sheet. It doesn't get driven out of bounds. You see right here, he just gives in now to make sure he falls down in bounds. Good job. Keeps the clock rolling.
A quarterback tackle the quarterback.
And now you can either hand it off or just take a knee and run the clock out.
Ricky Ashita had a couple of touchdown passes for Shafter. He's gone all the way, defensive back. He's made some great runs. By far, the best overall player tonight. Isaac Allman had a great first half. Many guys have shined for Wasco. Tony Ruiz, Daryl Moore, rolling the quarterback. Some guys on defense. Moore running wide. Cuts back, gets the grain. To the 10, 5, touchdown. He was trying to run out the clock, but he scores a touchdown.
Yeah, well, his great vision, great cutback ability. As he adds his second touchdown, and I believe he's going to be real close to picking up his 1,000 yards this season on that with that run.
Well, it's amazing how everything is clicking for Wasco tonight offensively.
And it all just started clicking on that after that one pass. That one pass kind of like jump started a dead offense, and they've been hitting on all cylinders since.
He was trying to run wide left, use up the clock, and the Shafter defense was all going that direction, so it cut back against the grain. Nothing was there. Line drive kick is up and good by Tony Ruiz, our Robo High School Online speedster of the week. But he could be joined by anywhere from 2 to 5 other Wasco Tigers if we have plaques to give out.
Well, right there, you're going to see he's going to his left. Ashita makes him cut in, but he does a good job of keeping his balance. And right here, when he cuts back, there's not going to be anybody for the Generals as you see him getting picked off.
Some of the blocks by Wasco on that run, too. He can't believe it. What a great run.
He walks in the end zone. I mean, and this young man, I mean, really, he's got to be, of all the players we've seen, pound for pound, he has to be one. He and Stamps have to be 2 of the toughest players pound for pound, because most of the backs we've seen are bigger backs, but they're small, slider build, and then they go and do it.
Speedster number 5, Tony Ruiz of Wasco. .134 on the clock, a Wasco victory over Shafter. Oh, so sweet for the Tigers. Shafter has beat them 3 consecutive years, but Wasco has dominated tonight.
Now you said you've done this how many years this game?
8 years.
So
5 years in the 80s, 3 years on TV.
Okay.
Kickoff comes number 12 for Shafter. Head dropped out about the 25-yard line. Number 12, the run back for Shafter. We don't have his number. They stole his number from the Wasco. 1:20 to play a ball game. Victor for the Wasco Tigers, and they are prowling on the other sidelines. These two communities are very proud. About 7.5 miles apart. And when you have a rivalry, one team can't win all the time, though.
No.
See the throw. One of those sidelines might be picked up by Castillo off his hands for the 40-yard line.
Castillo was trying to get his second pick.
Jump too early. Fejo, the intended receiver for Shafter, number 84.
Back to line of scrimmage will be 2nd down and 10 for the Generals.
And Shafter will keep on airing it out. That's the Tiger D.
Yep. Now, I'm not a big believer in the prevent defense, but this is one time you can play it. You got a minute and something left. You're up 23 points. It's not going to matter. It's when you play the prevent defense when you're up 3 or 4 or 6 that I don't like it.
I see a shotgun, a long pass to Fejo. Thought it was held up by Castillo, but no flag, no harm, no foul. Number 20 finishing back there for Wasco.
Yeah. You know, that's all you want to do. You make it difficult to get by them deep. And you play the little prevent and you protect the win. But when you talk about playing prevent with 12 points where people can score and come back on you, that's just ridiculous.
Island, Ruiz, Castillo, Thunderson, Maston, Rios, Ramirez, Hernandez, Soto, McCurdy, Gonzalez, Abiola, Weddle, Oxford, Kevin Gouette, all contributing to Wasco's D tonight. Big victory for Wasco. They will finish out this year with a record of 2-8. Shafter will fall to 1-8-1. Wasco's house scoring record will be 2-4. Shafter's 0-6. 4th down for the Generals. The clock is under 1 minute from General territory, and Wasco stills one on the enemy field. The clock ticking away. High snap to Oshida. Punts it straight up in the air and rolls sideways. Will be down at the Shafter 45-yard line.
44-yard line. Be 1st and 10 for the Tigers.
We'll see Simon come out and take a knee. And that'll be it. And then we'll have our Roadrunner High Speed Online Speedster of the Week.
Simon Lowen, quarterback 2 games for Wasco. They almost beat Tasby last week, and they beat Shafter tonight. So he'll be coming back next year as a senior year.
And so we'll see.
Wasco has a junior-dominated team, by the way.
Yes, and we'll see a guy touchdown, Tony Reese, get his Speedster of the Week award.
Oh, what a great game for him. Wow. Victory for Dan Thiessen, a loss for Mr. Eric Smith of Shafter. Both coaches in the first tier at their respective schools. The final score again tonight, Wasco 35, Shafter 12. You're watching the Pep Football Game of the Week. Now seen on the side, Time Warner Cable, Channel 41. Digital 106 with Mark and Brian. Next